It is October 1st, if you can believe it. It almost seems like a dream. I've heard other people say that, but it's true. Hard to believe I've been out here that long. Got glasses on this morning because it's getting where it's dark until almost 7 o'clock, especially today when it's a little bit cloudy. It missed it a little before dawn. But I got underway about 6:30. I'm just walking along Rainbow Lake. Get a picture of it here at some point when we get close. And I've got, let's see, about 10 miles to Able Bridge, which is the designated end of the 100-mile wilderness. There you can sort of see the lake behind me. Then, hopefully if all goes well, Mrs. Mulligan will be there. And then I'll make a decision then whether to do 10 more miles of supposedly really easy trail to Katahdin Stream Campground, which is essentially at the base of Katahdin. And then, depending on the weather, summit tomorrow or the next day. So a little bit in flux. So we'll see how the day and the next couple of days shake out, but I'm getting there. Oop. I'm just at the end of Rainbow Lake, but look, hopefully it shows up on camera, but look how clear the water is. Clear and clean. Oh, here's a better look. The creek flowing into Rainbow Lake. Just on my way up something called Rainbow Ledges. Last little hill, I think, before Katahdin. I'm about 5 miles into the day with 5 to go. Supposedly there's a great view of Katahdin from up here, but you can see the weather isn't great today. But I had some awesome views yesterday, so that's okay. Yeah, there's the view, socked in the clouds. That's right, yesterday made up for it. Those were incredible views yesterday. That's it. The official end of the 100-mile wilderness. Oh, There's more roads in the 100-mile wilderness than you would think. Logging roads, dirt roads, no paved roads, and certainly nowhere to resupply. But I have to say, it sure was nice slack packing the first 3 days, because those were hard days. I get all respect for anyone who comes into it and carries 6 days of food or 5 days of food and does it all self-supported. Because doing it 3 days slack packing and 2.5 with a pack, it was hard enough for me. But I believe right up here is the road. Hopefully that wasn't a tease and it's another mile. Pretty sure. There it is, there's the road, paved road. And then a little bit down that is Able Bridge. Here's Able Bridge. And I think, looking at the weather, that'll probably do it for day 165. Oh, pretty. Supposedly 10, I said before, 10 easy miles from here to Katahdin, or Katahdin Stream Campground, but it is kind of crummy out as far as weather goes. Feels like it's deteriorating too. Nice campground. So long, 100-mile wilderness. And there's Mrs. Mulligan. She's a professional. Right as I popped out of the woods, she came driving down the road. It is day 166, and I just left from Able Bridge. Maybe back 2/10 or 3/10 back that way. And I think I'm just coming up on the Baxter State Park boundary. So you can see Katahdin in the clouds back up there. So I'm glad I waited an extra day and didn't continue the Katahdin Stream yesterday and then try to summit today. I think tomorrow's supposed to be a lot nicer. It's supposed to be sunny and still in the low 50s, but a lot nicer day. I think this is the park boundary right here. This is, let's see, that's the sign up for the Birches Campground. That's the thru hiker campground. Weather forecast. Register. Oh, there you go. Welcome to Baxter State Park. It doesn't say Mulligan, welcome to Baxter State Park. Can you imagine? Oh, 10 miles to Katahdin Stream Campground in the base of Katahdin. Some exciting news to share. Got 2 more donations yesterday. Dave and Susie, thank you so much. I'll see you soon. And really exciting, my sister-in-law Molly, you were the one that put me over the goal that I had of raising $5,000 for the Evergreen ALS chapter. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's donated. I know I've talked to my sister Barbara many times, and she has expressed her appreciation to me and has told me several times to make sure that I pass that on to everyone who's donated. So from Barbara and I, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, everyone. We can't express our gratitude and our appreciation enough. And I'll find some way to do it better when I get back home. And by the way, something to be said for going over a person's goal, right? If you're feeling generous, still not to Katahdin, so still plenty of time to donate and exceed the goal. But as I said, thank you, everyone. I'm walking along the west branch of the Penobscot River. Pretty river, big river. And look at this smooth, flat, soft trail. My friend Coldfoot described this last section that I'm on as like walking on a cloud compared to everything else on the AT, and I can't say I disagree with him. I also don't think, I'm probably not gonna see my moose. Very sad, no moose. Although my brother-in-law Duke has suggested that perhaps my odds of seeing a moose would increase greatly if I would yo-yo. And if you don't know what yo-yoing is, that's when you hike the AT northbound, through hike northbound from Springer Mountain to Katahdin. And then when you get to the top of Katahdin, you yo-yo. You turn around and then hike southbound back to Springer Mountain. So you hike northbound to Katahdin, turn around and go back to Springer. And I know of at least a couple people that are doing that this year. As tempting as that is, Duke, and you're right, it would increase my odds of seeing my moose greatly. I think it's very tempting, but I think I'm going to pass. I'll save my moose for another day. Although Mrs. Mulligan did see a big bull moose by the side of the road. So that sort of counts, right? The smooth trail, you know, it also kind of makes me think how little of the trail looks like this and what my perception maybe was before I started this journey. And I won't say that I thought it was going to be like this, because I mean, I'd watched plenty of videos. I thought I was well prepared, and I think probably most people are like this. But very little of it looks like this. In fact, I think a lot of people maybe think because the Appalachian mountain chain and the Appalachian Mountains, which the AT traverses obviously, since those mountains, the elevations are nothing like the Rocky Mountains or the Sierras, that the AT is sort of more, you know, sort of relatively flat, maybe up and down rolling hills for the course of it. And nothing could be further from the truth. I've got a new appreciation. They say that the total elevation gain and lost on the AT is something over 460,000 feet, or the equivalent of 16 times up and down Everest. And that is considerably more than the PCT, Pacific Crest Trail. And having done every one of those 460,000 feet, I can believe it. Like I said, I have a new appreciation for the ruggedness of it, and how little of the trail actually looks like this. Having lived out in Colorado for a few years and hiking in the Rockies, I probably was a little bit like that. And I thought the mountains back east, you know, they're not that big. You know, the highest mountain on the AT is at Clingman's Dome at 6,000 feet, Mount Washington, etc. How tough could it be compared to, well, the 14,000 foot mountains in Colorado? But As I said, I'm here to tell you, I've gained a new appreciation for just how difficult and real the mountains are on the AT, that's for sure. Here, I'll butcher one more name for you. This is the Nasada Weedahunk stream right before it flows into the Penobscot downstream where I just was. One more main name that I'm sure I'm way off on. This being my second to last day, this is probably a good time, and we haven't done this in a long time, but for the finale, the last episode of The Biggest Loser. So if you remember correctly, my starting weight before I started on this journey was 216 pounds. And you've certainly seen in some of the videos the countless pints of Ben & Jerry's. I should have kept track of how many pints of Ben & Jerry's. Endless big Cadbury chocolate bars. You've seen some of the slabs of crumb cake through New York. I miss those. Fritos, potato chips, some Pop-Tarts recently. I could go on and on. Endless fatty junk food. So it's hard to see on the camera. What do you think? What's your best guess? When I weighed in last night coming out of the 100-mile wilderness, I was 189 pounds. So what's that? I lost 27 pounds through the course of the whole journey. And I think I read somewhere the average person loses 30, so I'm just about average. And I know of at least one person who's lost almost 100 pounds out here, and some people don't lose anything, so it goes all across the spectrum. But 189 pounds, I don't imagine I'll stay like that for long. I think I said once before, I may have to go to some sort of rehabilitation place for ice cream and sugar. But that's pretty crazy. It doesn't actually feel like it. I do know I just want to eat all the time, but I'll have to be careful about that too. So there you go, the final episode of The Biggest Loser. So there is one more thing I need to talk about. Really important thing, actually. I'll see if I can do it without getting too emotional. But Mrs. Mulligan, you know, when I originally started my through hike, I thought, you know, that she was going to come visit me the end of May, beginning of June, hang around for a couple weeks, and that would be awesome. And as it turned out, the day she arrived to visit was one of my worst days on the trail, and it couldn't have been better timing. I got off trail for a couple of weeks, and I thought she would continue on her own adventure for the summer. and she ended up hanging around with only a few exceptions to go off and visit friends and family and take a couple little mini vacations of her own. She ended up hanging around with me for 1,400 miles. And so you can imagine, some of the towns that you're in aren't the most glamorous places. The hotels aren't the fanciest. It's not the most exciting thing to hang around all day long in those locations. But she hung around for 1,400 miles, and I can't even begin to express the amount of support, emotional and physical support, logistical support that she provided me. It's just, I can't even imagine. You know, I'd like to think that I would have been able to, you know, carry my pack the whole way without that help, but I don't know. You know, the last 500 miles when your body is really getting beat down, everyone's is. You know, I'd like to think that I could have done that on my own, but I don't know. Being able to slack pack, you know, some of that time instead of carrying a full pack, you know, I really think made the difference, you know, with me being able to complete the hike. So thank you, Annie. I couldn't have done it without you. Couldn't have done it without you.